I don't know how to start this one. I'm back. So today we have Shadow and Schmooze. This is where I put on makeup and give an update on everything in the last couple months, how surgery went, how recovery's going, what I've been doing, catching you up on all of it. Everything I used on my face today and that I'm wearing jewelry, everything is down below in the description box. Almost just started filming without my mic plugged in, so clearly it's been a minute. Feels very odd to be back because on one hand, I, took time off and we'll talk about everything. But on the other hand, I feel like I thought about YouTube literally like 20 times a day, even when I wasn't actually filming, that I feel like it hasn't been that long. Gonna start putting on makeup, but everything I have on my face will be down below in the description box. Okay, so when I'm filming this, I'm about 9 weeks-ish post-op. This video is not going up until I think the end of the month. I am starting to pre-film right now because I just want to give myself a little bit of a runway here when I start jumping back into work. So if you missed my last video, and I just realized I think I'm wearing the exact same shirt. Actually, that's gonna bug me. I'm gonna go change shirts. We're back. Cheers. Oh, that shade might be, that's too dark. I might mix these two shades. I've been really liking this Charlotte Tilbury Sheer Glow Tint in the shade 4. Super glowy though, like very glowy, so be warned. So my last video was a big health update video, just what's been going on, things I haven't shared ever before. So in order to get more background on this video, you can go watch that video first. And I just wanted to say thank you. Seriously, thank you. I cried multiple times. I actually posted that video after surgery. So I was reading the comments when I was like, I think a couple weeks post-op. Reading your comments, especially like in that state, just meant a lot to me and got me in my feels. So in that video, I talked a little bit about having EDS and migraines and my failed first neck surgery that I had 4 years ago. So let's talk about how the surgery went, how recovery is going, and all of that. Like I said, I'm about 9 weeks, almost 9 weeks post-op when I'm filming this. I had a spinal fusion ACDF in my neck, and what they think happened was because of my EDS, they think that there wasn't enough compression in my neck, like there was too much movement to hold that first disc in place. So before I got this surgery, I got consults from I think 5 or 6 different surgeons all over the place, and all of them just said this is like a kind of weird, rare thing that happened to have the disc fail and then to have to do a fusion. The good and bad news is that when the surgeon got in there this time, and this is a different surgeon, of course, than the one who did the first surgery, he said that, and I quote, "the disc was dangling in my neck." So that's good news because it was easy for them to remove. They didn't know if they were gonna have to like grind down bone in there. They didn't know how difficult it was gonna be to remove the first disc. So it was just dangling, so it was easy for them to get off. If I had fallen, if I had gotten into an accident in the last 4 years or whenever the disc failed, I likely would have been paralyzed. The other good thing about the fact that it was barely holding on there in my neck is that he said that that would have been cause for severe pain alone, like just that, let alone the other stuff that I have. So we're all just hoping that once I'm fully recovered, that will decrease the pain and the migraines, and I'll give a little update in a minute on where all of that's at right now with recovery. So the surgery itself went really well. Because of how hypermobile my spine is, he actually decided to make a game time decision, and instead of doing a titanium cage, which we're getting to the nitty gritty here, but I actually think this stuff is super interesting. It is important to ask those questions. If you're getting a surgery, any surgery, get multiple opinions and also ask specifics, because you'll see just how much the technique and like product inside your body changes based on the surgeon. When I got those 6 different opinions, if I had gone with the first guy and not gotten any other opinions, it would have been like just a terrible call. It was not the right call. So get multiple opinions and also take notes. It's totally fine. You can ask doctors when you're in an appointment, any appointment, you can ask them, is it okay if I audio record this just so I can listen back and like remember what you're saying? That's totally fine. I have recordings from most of my consults, because when you're being fed a ton of information, sometimes it can be a lot and you're trying to like process everything and then remember it and then compare it to other doctors. So just know that you can do that. But my point with saying all of that is that I knew the exact like product and titanium cage and method and amount of screws and everything that he was going to be using. And I had compared that to the other doctors and seen, you know, what the majority thought was like the right approach. So when I was in surgery, because of how hypermobile my spine was and just seeing the condition of that other disc, he decided to do a kind of more like old school but tried and tested approach where it's bulkier. I have like a thicker metal plate in my neck now with screws that are holding my spine right there in place. He said he rarely uses those anymore, usually in like older people or with like osteoporosis or something, but he wanted to make sure that my spine was not going anywhere this time around. So I feel good about that. The downside with that approach is that it's behind your throat. So you can see my scar here. So they go in and the plate basically pushes up against your throat. And because it's bulkier than the titanium cage that they usually use, it can cause a lot of swelling and just like more pressure on your throat area. So because of that, I could not swallow anything other than liquids or like yogurt and mashed potato for, I wrote it down so I didn't forget, how long was it? Minimum 6 weeks. It was really like week 7 that I started being able to like bite food and actually like swallow it and get it down. I was trying to take the smallest bites of literally anything soft. My mom is a saint and a queen, let me just tell you that, but she tried cooking so many different things. So I was on soup. I mean, I'm never gonna eat a soup again. I ate so much friggin' soup. But we tried a lot of stuff. I was taking a bite of fish, like literally this big or any soft thing, and I would have to chase it with hot water and milk and like chug water in between each bite. So each meal would take me like minimum 45 minutes to get down. And there were a couple times where I was like almost choking. So that part was not fun. But what I was told afterwards was because he had to put that like thicker plate in, it basically doubles the amount of time that you can't swallow food. So the surgery was done not where I live. So we all had to travel and stay in an Airbnb for like 3.5 weeks after the surgery until I could do the post-op appointment with him and do the follow-up x-rays and stuff. For the actual surgery, my dad, my boyfriend, and my mom came. My dad stayed only for like a few days after surgery. My boyfriend was there for like 2 weeks, working just remote from the Airbnb. My mom was in the Airbnb with me for the whole time, 3.5 weeks. And then her and I flew back to San Diego where they live so that I could have more help recovering there after that. I have seen my fair share of hospitals and doctors over the last like 20 years. And I just have to say, the hospital, the surgeon, the nurses, like the whole experience of the actual surgery, 10 out of 10. I've never seen such an organized hospital. It was just like, I felt good. The night before surgery, I just fell asleep. A few days before, my wheels were turned in, but the actual night before surgery, I just felt like at peace about it. My concern with any surgery I've had is always, please let me not wake up with migraine. I felt ready to do the thing in the morning because it was more complex than just a fusion with like removing the other disc too. I was originally scheduled to stay overnight in the hospital, but that afternoon they said that things were looking good as far as like, I don't know, all my levels and heart rate and everything. And so they felt good about me going home or to the Airbnb. I also was very happy about that. I did not want to stay in the hospital by myself. So when they said I could go home if I wanted, I was like, praise be. So at this point I was still in the neck braces, the foam brace, and the hard collar. I remember the feeling of how heavy my neck was after the first surgery, and no one knows like when the first disc failed. It could have been a week later, it could have slid out 2 years later. Comparing it just like structurally to the first surgery, this feels very different to me. My neck right now feels sturdier than I've ever felt it. Just like going to lay down on a pillow or go like this. There's still pain when I do this right now because I'm healing and we'll get into that. But just structurally, it feels so much more sturdy than I've ever felt. And big news, I grew over an inch, about 1.25 inches from my new neck. So I am no longer 4'11 and a half. I am about 5'1"-ish. Didn't know that would happen. That's crazy. That was like the structural side, I guess, like the facts of how it all went. Now here's the what I'm feeling part of it all. So right now I feel pain-wise, migraine-wise, everything, I would say a little worse than I did before, just because things are still very much healing. I wasn't expecting at this point to like feel radically different, because the surgeon did say that it'll take about 4 or 5 months, depending on, you know, just how slow I heal with my body, to feel a difference. And so I wasn't counting on feeling like radically different right now. The daily pain has been, yeah, not fun. Migraines almost every day, just still a lot of pain in my neck and my muscles. It feels like there's like a metal cage like throughout my traps and shoulders, and then going all the way up. My muscles right now all throughout here they're usually like crazy tight, even more. They are fighting back, like, and it makes sense because there's so much trauma to the area that the inside is just like everything is aggravated. But I'm staying positive that this will make some kind of difference. I mean, I don't know how it can't, you know, just like thinking about it structurally, what was done and the condition of the disc before. But what I'm doing right now is PT twice a day, and then in-person PT twice a week, massages every like 5 days. I've been trying flotation tanks, like the magnesium. It's basically concentrated magnesium where you fully float in the thing. Red light therapy, I do my at-home one every single night. And then I do in person with like a concentrated one where they place directly on the area about once a week. So when I was at my first post-op appointment at about like 3.5 weeks, they said that in order to try to keep the migraines off so that I could be out of bed and like upright, which is what's needed for healing, and just like moving around so that my muscles have a chance to rebuild themselves. He wanted me to get my normal Botox injections in my neck and occipital area to try to like relax the muscles so that hopefully I would get out of the cycle. And so I did that exactly at the 3.5 week point. So right now I'm like 5 weeks after that round of Botox. I don't know. It's not doing as much as it usually does. So I don't know if it's making it worse. Usually at this point, I'll have been like feeling it pretty good in a good way at this point, and I get usually like a solid month and then it wears off. Right now I don't have that kind of relief, so I don't know. Could be not the right spots, could be weakening the muscles too much and making them like fight harder to hold my head up, which I think might be what's happening. So instead of doing another round of Botox, what I'm actually this week, I have 2 consults with different doctors to talk about PRP and prolotherapy, because from what I understand, that can like strengthen the ligaments and can really help people with EDS. There's a girl I know who has a super similar situation to me, and she recently tried it, and it's been the only thing that has given her any kind of relief ever. So that's very promising to hear, because our stuff just sounds super similar, and that promotes healing. So I just feel like logically it makes sense to do in line with the surgery. It's strengthening your ligaments, rebuilding. In very basic terms, they basically take out your blood, spin it in like a machine, and then re-inject it. I've heard that in your spine it can be very painful, and it really can like aggravate things, because it's basically like inflaming your body. It's like causing a fire in your body basically to then force your body to put the fire out. It can be really painful for the few treatments before it starts to get better, but I literally don't care. If it gave any kind of relief, I will do anything. Just like hearing how much relief she got from it, it seems really promising. So that's kind of where I'm at. If any of you have similar stuff to me and have done PRP, please let me know how it went down below. So I'm out of the brace now and I can turn my head. This side is easier, about this much. Can't look up a whole lot yet, but looking down is easier. But I did just start driving recently, so that's big news. What are some other milestones? I can eat tacos. I can like turn my head and lean forward enough to eat a taco. And I can spit in the sink, brushing my teeth. The first, I want to say like 6 weeks, I couldn't like lean over enough to do that, so I would just like spit in a cup and then dump that in the sink. These are probably details no one wants to know, but this is what I have to talk about right now. So still healing, but you know, improvements each week, I feel like, and I think it's just gonna really take time. We're just kind of in like the waiting game, but also doing everything I can to try to like help my body at the same time. I did a lot of learning just about certain supplements, and I attended like a online conference, trying to do things internally too that can aid in the healing. The scar is healing well. I think it'll basically disappear. I can't even see. Did they go right on top of the other one? No, I can't even tell. No, I think my first scar was right here. So it should like totally disappear. Honestly, I don't really care. I've never been bothered by scars to begin with. I've been loving this. Side note, the Anastasia Brow Freeze Gel. A lot of brow gels don't actually hold my hairs up. This one definitely does. What I do is like push it up with my finger and press it into my skin. So each week I basically have like 5 to 6 usually like medical appointments. So between that and then the fact that I'm still not functioning, while I'm back to YouTube, I'm also gonna be just trying to kind of be more chill about it. And I'm not gonna say I'm gonna upload every week. I'm just gonna get out what I can kind of thing, not stress myself or my body out. My main priority right now is healing and hopefully just eventually having less pain. All of the other things in life that I want to do can't happen until my health is in a better space. So it really is like the number one thing in my life right now, alongside with relationships. But my body is the thing that's stopping like these next phases of life from happening. And that is pretty frustrating, but I'm just trying to do everything I can. So I'm just really thankful that my boyfriend is super understanding and helpful in like every possible way with the health stuff. I just feel like we're in it together and that he also wants to do everything he can. I kind of had a feeling this would happen because this is just how my brain is. I thought about work and thought about YouTube so much that mentally I don't feel like I really took time off. And I know that sounds insane, but I mean, I knew this before, but especially realized this time just how much of the job to me is like the mental load of it. I don't know why, but the first surgery 4 years ago when I took kind of my last big break, it was only actually like a month that time, but when I did that after that first surgery, that one I feel like I really unplugged. I mean, I deleted like all the social media apps. I didn't watch YouTube. I felt like I really like turned my brain off at that point, and I did it pretty successfully this time around. I don't know why. I deleted Instagram. I haven't been logged into Instagram besides I posted one time to give you guys like a little update, but haven't gone on Instagram at all. That was pretty easy. I don't know if it's because a few times I did watch YouTube videos, and I feel like when I'm watching YouTube videos, my brain is obviously thinking about making YouTube videos. It also could have been that I never go on TikTok like when I'm working. I feel like I have so little time to like go on TikTok as like a pleasure thing that I just usually don't. But when I wasn't uploading, I spent a lot of time on TikTok. I really like enjoyed TikTok for the first time and felt like I got kind of something out of it. But again, because of social media, and I'm like thinking like, oh, should I be doing that? Should I be on TikTok Shop? Should I be like all these things? My brain was just going. So I think that's probably why I think I probably should have deleted the TikTok app. But you know, it is what it is. I'm using the Groundworks palette. I haven't tested this enough yet, so I can't say what I think, especially for the price. It is expensive, but because of that, I'm like, I want to use this thing and see. Put this on my lid. This is insanely pretty. Oh my God. This is in the shade. It's not on here. I'll put it down below. You can keep it like that as like a more, you know, sheer-ish wash, but then you could also build it up like for wedding makeup or special event makeup. You could build it up and it gets extremely intense. Very squishy, moussey, I guess. But I am really grateful that I'm my own boss and could take that time off. Moments when I wasn't migraining, I had some nice time to just like focus on things that I usually don't have time for. I have a couple new hobbies. What did I do? The first 3 weeks, I was major post-op mode, like could not hold my head up for much. I was eating, like this, leaning on the counter, laying with like full blankets and stuff stacked behind my head. So the first 3 weeks were very much just like shows and reading. I'll give some book updates in a video coming up because there were a couple fails, but there were some good ones. Like a couple of the books I read are definitely some favors for the year. At the 4-week mark is when I started doing computer work, like for non-YouTube related stuff. So I still had to do like a lot of paperwork, just insurance stuff, rental property stuff. But I feel good that I had that chunk of time to just like catch up on all that stuff that I had just been procrastinating on, caught up on accounting, did like I feel good as far as the position for the end of the year with all of the other business stuff. I don't even know how long I've been home like here now. To rewind, I was in the Airbnb for, like I said, 3.5 weeks with my mom. Then I flew to San Diego with her for I think another week and a half. And then to help me get back here, my boyfriend flew to San Diego, hung out there with my parents for a couple days, and then him and I flew back here. So anyways, I've been back here for, I want to say almost a month now. My boyfriend was here with me for a couple weeks. That was perfect because I definitely still needed help with like a lot of household stuff and just basic things like loading dishes and being able to like reach up. I'm still not supposed to carry over 5 pounds. So like just basic things like packages or getting groceries like that, I just kind of have to work around, especially in the last couple weeks since he's been gone and I've just had, more time to myself by myself. I've been staying very busy. I am learning French. Listen, very entry level right now, but I love learning languages. I learned Arabic. I'm gonna try it out. I used this years ago, but this is a new Tartelette tubing mascara. Actually, before I do mascara, I'm gonna use this setting spray. It's the L'Oreal 3 Second 36 hour. Again, who's keeping their makeup on for 36 hours? Wow, this is so fragranced, FYI. It feels like the one size spray though. You can definitely feel it on your skin. I don't think this is like an everyday kind of setting spray, probably more of like a heavy duty. But the reason why I started learning French is because my boyfriend is originally from Quebec. In Quebec, they speak French. He's been in the US for so long that he doesn't have an accent at all. Like, English is fully fluent, no accent at all, but he is fluent in French. But his parents, when it's like their family together, they all speak French. When I'm with them, they all speak English for me. But when it's just them all together, they're just speaking French. I just don't want to be that person. I would rather them speak their native language with each other and me understand what I can. And also just thinking about the future. Like, I've always wanted my kids to speak another language. I want to be able to participate and understand them as well. I also think it's just like a respect thing. Like, obviously it will take a while for me to get to the level of like conversing fluently or understanding a lot, but I just think it's a respect thing when you learn someone's native language. And also try, like, we're going, I'm going to be spending Christmas with his family, and I just think it's nice if you like show that you're trying and making an effort, even if it's just a few words. So I found a good YouTube video from a guy who taught himself French, and I'm doing exactly what he suggested, which is starting with Duolingo, but then also like learning the conjugation and stuff on your own, and then listening to certain podcasts, and then like going from there. And then obviously I have my boyfriend to actually practice with, and I have a notebook. I take notes. I like go back over the notebook and then study it myself. But also, if there's a day where I'm in bed all day not feeling well, I'll just do Duolingo on my phone and go through like the review ones instead of learning a new lesson, just like go through the practice words and stuff. And then other days I might sit down for like an hour at the desk and like actually really learn. So, or also in-person classes. You can take classes at community colleges as an adult, like as a non-seeking degree student. What else have I been doing? I feel like lower mascara is having kind of a comeback, and also waterline mascara, which is so funny because truly makeup trends just go in a friggin' circle. On me, I do feel like it closes off my eyes a little bit more. I've still been reading. I don't want to say behind on my reading goal because it should be fun. Like, I don't know. I wanted to get close to the amount of books I read last year, just as a general, I don't know why, honestly. But then I realized, you know what? Everything doesn't have to be this like strict goal that we have to hit. We don't have to read more books than we did last year. We can just read them to enjoy them and like not have that be a thing. And so that's where I'm at now. I spent many hours learning the credit card point system, like how to better use my points and miles. And I might talk about that in a video just with what I learned once I really nail it down, because forever I've just been like hoarding all of my credit card points or not spending them in the best way. And so I finally took the time to like research and figure out how the heck to actually get crazy deals and like good business class tickets using points for like the same price as what you would have spent on just like a domestic normal flight, there are ways. I have been working on a holiday gift guide video. I do one of those every year and you guys seem to like it. I'll link my last one down below, but I'm working on one for this year. I love this liner. This is one of my most used lip liners, the Freck Beauty in the shade 2. I haven't used this in a while, but it's the e.l.f. lip oil in Red Delicious. It has like a minty scent, which I love. And the applicator on this just hugs your lips. This, if you want like a reflective gloss to either use all over or just on, like sometimes I only put it on the high points, like here and then here where you want that extra shine. This is so pretty. And this one smells like vanilla or like cake. I think those are the updates, folks. I swear my hair looks so much darker in this lighting. It looks like I have black hair again, but I promise you it's dark brown. Everything I put on my face today will be down below along with all the jewelry. We've got a lot of big mix of stuff on today. This is a new necklace that I am in love with. It's so sparkly, especially like outside. It has such a good, pretty sparkle to it. Seriously, thank you guys for everything, your comments, your patience, and just understanding. I love you guys. Thanks for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.